Good morning, students. Today we are going to study a new topic, that is relation between electric current and drift velocity. You have already understood the term electric current and drift velocity in the previous class. So let's assume a conductor of length L and uniform area capital A. We place this conductor across an applied potential difference, that is V. Because of this potential difference, there will be electric field E. This electric field will be equal to potential difference V divided by length L, which is called potential gradient. You have already studied this experiment in Unit 1 Electrostatics. Now, when you will place a conductor in an external electric field, there will be drift of electrons in the opposite direction. So, we will say that the drift velocity with which the electrons are moving, let that drift velocity V be Vd. Now, the number of electrons per unit volume will be, let us say, small n. So, small n is the number of electrons per unit volume. And we know that charge on one electron is equal to E. Now focus on this diagram. This diagram is showing that the electric field is applied across west to east direction, and when the electric field is applied, it is applied with the help of the battery, which is providing the potential difference. Because of this battery, electric field is generated, and because of this electric field, the electrons will start moving in the opposite direction. So, the conventional current will be in the direction of electric field, and the electronic current, which is due to the flow of electrons, will be in the opposite direction to the electric field. Now, the number of electrons in length L, that is the total length of the conductor. Till now we have considered number of electrons per unit volume, that is small n. Now we are talking about number of electrons in length n. This will be equal to number of electrons per unit volume into total volume of the conductor. And we know volume of the conductor is area into length. So the expression comes out to be NaL, where N is the number of electrons per unit volume and Al is the total volume of the conductor. Now, when the electrons are flowing, so by quantization, total charge will be there inside the conductor, and that total charge will be equal to ENAL. The charge is Q and this is equal to ENAL. Why? Because we know that by quantization Q is equal to NE, where E is the charge on one electron and N is the total number of electrons present. Now here the total number of electrons present is NaL, so the charge will be E, that is charge of one electron into total number of electrons, NaL. Now moving further, when the electrons are drifted towards the opposite direction, they will take some time. How much time will they take? Let us say the time is t. So this time is equal to distance upon velocity. Distance is the length of the conductor, that is L, and velocity, because the electrons are drifting towards the opposite end of the conductor, so the velocity with which they are moving will be Vd, that is drift velocity. And we know that current I is equal to Q by T, that is charge flowing per unit time. So charge, we have found out the value of charge, that is ENAL, and T we have found out the value of T also, which is TL divided by Vd. Putting all these values, we get a final relation, that is I is equal to ENAVD. This relation is very important, and this relation is between current and drift velocity, which we had to derive. So current is directly proportional to drift velocity. It also depends on number of electrons and the charge of one electron. So this is the relation between I and Vd. Now we come to our next derivation, that is deduction of Ohm's law. You all know what is Ohm's law, and we have already discussed this in our previous lecture, that Ohm's law is nothing. It tells us that your voltage applied is directly proportional to the current flowing. So we know that Vd, drift velocity, is E this is charge of electron, and capital E is the electric field, tau is relaxation time, and m is the mass of electron. So this expression we have already drawn in our virtual class. From here we can come to the conclusion that Vd is equal to E into V by L into tau by m. V by L, why? Because E is equal to V by L. We have just put the value of E in this relation. Okay, this is E is equal to V by L, and I, we have found out the relation I is equal to NEA Vd. Now putting the value of Vd in this equation, we get NEA into EV tau by ML, and from here V by I is equal to ML upon NE square tau A. What is V by I? From Ohm's law, V by I is equal to R. That is, V by I is equal to R means V is directly proportional to I, or V is equal to Ri. And if we fix the temperature, at a fixed temperature, the quantities m, that is mass, L length, n number of electrons, E charge of one electron, and tau relaxation time, and area all have constant values. Their values do not change when we fix the temperature for a given conductor. For this relation we can find out V by I is equal to R. From this is Ohm's law, and from here we can say V is equal to IR, and putting these values from Ohm's law, we get a new relation for R, and R, that is R is equal to ML upon NE square tau A. This is very important relation. This shows us that R is directly proportional to the length of conductor, and it is inversely proportional to the area of conductor, and it is also inversely proportional to relaxation time and number of charges flowing. Now before moving further, you should know that electric current is a scalar quantity. We do not take electric current to be a vector quantity. It is a scalar quantity, and normal algebraic rules will be followed for its addition. We do not have to follow vector rules for it. We just have to follow normal algebraic rules. Okay, so electric, always keep it in your mind, electric current is a scalar quantity. Conductivity, we have discussed conductivity in our last lecture. It is represented by sigma. Resistivity is represented by rho. From the relation R is equal to ML by NE square tau A, we can say that R is directly proportional to L and R is inversely proportional to A. From here we can apply, when we join these two terms, we get R is directly proportional to L by A, or we can write it as R is equal to rho L by A. So here this rho is constant of proportionality, and it is called resistivity, or we can say specific resistance. But R is equal to ML by NE square tau A, and from here we get rho's value, and rho comes out to be M upon NE square tau. It is very important term, and it depends on two terms basically. First, number of electrons per unit volume, that is small n, and it also depends on the relaxation time, that is tau. And you can see rho will be less for those materials whose number of electrons will be less and whose relaxation time will be it will be more for the materials whose number of electrons will be less and relaxation time will be less. So this is all about the articles which we had to do today. Now let's take some numericals to understand how to apply these formulae for the numericals. The first numerical which we are going to discuss is a copper wire has a resistance of 10 ohms and an area of cross section 1 millimeter square. A potential difference of 10 volt exists across the wire. Calculate the drift velocity of electrons if the number of electrons per cubic meter in copper is 8 into 10 raised to power 8 electrons. Before solving any numerical, you must write down what is given to you in the numerical. So first of all, we will write what is given. The given physical quantities are R, that is your resistance, which is equal to 10 ohms. A area, which is 1 mm square, you will convert it into meter square, so it comes out to be 10 raised to power minus 6 meter square. Then potential difference is also given to us, that is 10 volt. N is also given to us, small n, that is 8 into 10 raised to power 28 electrons per meter cube. What do we have to find out? We have to find out the drift velocity. So we should know what the formula we have to use. So write down the formula used, that is I is equal to NEAVD. And we know that I from Ohm's law is equal to V by R. We don't have the value of I, we have value of V and R. So we have to apply Ohm's law. We will apply Ohm's law and we will get V by R is equal to ENAVD. Now we have the value of all the terms except Vd. So putting all the values, we get the final expression, which comes out to be 0.078 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter per second, or we can write it in the form of millimeter per second also, which comes out to be 0.078. I hope you have understood how to apply the formula in your numericals. Now let's move on to the next numerical, that is calculate the electric field in a copper wire of cross-sectional area 2 millimeter square carrying a current of 1 ampere. The conductivity of copper is equal to 6.25 into 10 raised to the power 7 Simon per meter. Again we will write what is given to us. The given terms are area, which is 2 millimeter square, so we convert it into meter square. Then we have been given current, which is 1 ampere, and we have been given sigma, which is 6.25 into 10 raised to the power 7 Simon per meter. For finding out the electric field, we have to find out current density, which is I by A. You know this. And at microscopic level, if we convert Ohm's law, J is equal to sigma E, which is conductivity and electric field. Applying these formulae, we get E is equal to I upon A sigma. Putting the values, we know the value of I, we know the value of A and sigma. Putting these value, we get the final expression, that is 8 into 10 raised to the power minus 3 volt per meter. So I hope you have understood how to apply the formulae and you have understood all the topics which we have discussed today. Just write down the notes, and if you have any doubts, contact me on my personal WhatsApp number. Thank you.